Why did they put all these things in different pages? Why did they do that? Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, Patronosaurus Reads. I'm Katie, aka Patronosaurus, and I read. So remember how in my goals video, I said I really want to get my physical TBR down? So I'm not going to be buying a lot of books this year. I'm so sorry, y'all. I am a dirty, filthy liar. I bought so many books at half-price books, like 12 books at one time, which is so many books, right? So I go to the half-price books outlet, so that's where our books go to die when the regular stores can't sell them for whatever reason. So they're super, super marked down. So a lot of these books were like $3. I think the majority of them were. And they had just gotten a shipment in that had some fairly new releases that looked like brand new. So I bought them. I have no shame. That's a lie. I have a little bit of shame. Let's just talk about these books. The first book I got was The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This is about a magical school, I believe. I don't really know a whole lot about this. I just know it's about a magical school, and I'm finally feeling like I'm back into fantasy again. I feel like basically since I started my channel, I haven't been reading a lot of fantasy, and I was just in like very much a contemporary mood. But I am a fantasy reader. I do read fantasy, and I'm finally getting the desire back to read fantasy. So I've heard good things about this. Well, like mixed to good. So I thought I would go ahead and give it a try, especially because it was $3. The next book I got was Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. I think maybe this was her debut. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay, the ink in this book is kind of red. It's not just black. I don't know if that'll come across on camera. But I read this book before a long time ago. And I remember it being kind of creepy, kind of romantic, kind of fun. Like, I don't know if this is a book for 15-year-old Katie. I don't remember loving it a lot, but I think this appeals a lot more to 24-year-old Katie. So I'm gonna give it another try and then see if I want to maybe try to keep going with Kendare Blake's later works. What is it? The Three Dark Crowns series? Is that what the books are called? I don't know. The next book I have is Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I've heard Johansson and Johansson, and I don't know what the author prefers. So if anybody knows, please tell me. This is another fantasy series. The back doesn't say a whole lot. She's the queen and she's trying to fight evil, and that's basically it. That's a fantasy book. So I think this book was really making the rounds right when I first started watching BookTube, or maybe just the series in general, and I haven't heard a whole lot about it in the last like year or two. So I still want to read it. I remember this being one that I was always interested in, but I never ended up picking it up, and now I will. The next book I have is Graceling by Kristen Cashore. This is a book that I feel like is kind of a sleeper hit. Like, a low to middling amount of people talk about it, but every single person I've ever heard talk about this book has had nothing but good things to say. This is another fantasy book. I basically don't know what it's about. I know this is a companion series rather than a series, so that's kind of fun. The next book I have is Ask the Passengers by A.S. King. So my half-price books had like 7 A.S. King books, and I was like, this is Books and Lala. And I tweeted, I was like, ma'am, your brand, and she liked my tweet. So that's exciting. I probably would have had no interest in A.S. King if it weren't for Lala. And I still am a little apprehensive because Kayla likes weird books. A.S. King is, if not her absolute favorite author, one of her favorite authors. A.S. King writes weird books. So I read all the synopses for all of them that were there, and this one seemed the least weird, and it's queer. So I feel like this might be a good way for me to ease into A.S. King. I'm sure there's gonna be some sort of like weird fabulous element, because I think that's A.S. King's like thing. But I think most of it is gonna be relatively normal YA, and it's about a girl who likes girls, which I enjoy reading about because I am a girl who likes girls. So I think this will be a good sort of gauge to see if I want to continue with A.S. King's weirder books. There were like 3 copies of that book about where the main character like turns into a dog, and I was like, I can't. I'm not ready for that. And the next book I have is Spellbinder, book 3 in the Night World series. I talked about this in my last haul, not this specific book, but this series. This is by L.J. Smith, who wrote The Vampire Diaries. That's probably what she's most well known for, but Night World was probably my second favorite series of hers after The Forbidden Game. And they originally were published, I think, in single volumes, and then they were put in these ugly bind-up editions similar to Vampire Diaries, and now they have been repackaged into these really gorgeous, like, book jacket list, just like naked cover, gorgeous things. And I love these books, so I've kind of just been picking them up at stores when I find them. I think I've seen a lot of these on Book Outlet, so if you're interested in these, check Book Outlet, because I think they have quite a lot of copies of, like, I think this entire series or most of them, so pro tip. The next book I got that I was very excited about was Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles. I mean, you can see this is like not beat up at all. Like, this looks like a really nice copy, and this is obviously a fairly new book. I think it came out in 2018. This book is about a boy and his twin brother who go to a party, and that party gets busted by the police, and then the next day his brother Tyler is missing. So he was there, and they try to figure out where he went. And I think this is going to be very difficult, but I've heard nothing but good things about this, and this cover is like the most stunning book cover I've ever seen. So I was very happy to find this. And the next book I have to show you is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dau. This is an East Asian inspired retelling of Snow White, but I think it's the origin story of the Evil Queen, I think is what this book is. I think a lot of it is about the character trying to decide if she wants to embrace this darkness that has been prophesied and things, and I've heard really good things about this one as well. And again, fairly new release, basically pristine. The jacket isn't even dented up or anything, so God, I love half-price books. The next book I have is Point by Brandi Colbert. I think this is her debut as well. This is about a teenage ballet dancer whose best friend was kidnapped, and then he finally makes it back home. And so she's dealing with him coming back and her own trauma that she was finally recovering from after he disappeared and all kinds of things. So this is going to be also very intense and dark. And I think it's going to be really good because I really liked Brittany Randolph. So I'm hoping I'll like this as well. The next book I have to show you is Dreadnought by April Daniels. This is about a trans superhero, which is like, yes. In this world, there are a lot of superheroes, and our main character, Danny, finds one when he's been injured, and his power basically passes from one person to the next, like he just hands off the mantle. So that superhero is named Dreadnought. So Danny becomes Dreadnought, and part of Dreadnought's powers when you become Dreadnought is to get your ideal body, basically so you can be in like fighting shape to take on bad guys. But Danny is trans, so her body goes from male to her ideal female body. And I read this already. I got it from the library a couple years ago, and I loved it. But this is kind of a sleeper hit, indie published kind of thing. So I couldn't find it in any stores, and I was so happy to find this at Half Price Books. I snatched it up. I love this book. I highly recommend it. Trigger warnings for a lot of transphobia. It's like rough in some parts. Not just outright transphobia, but there's also a very turfy character that I was like, I want to fight you. So there is a lot of that there. So if you can't handle that, if you're not in the mental space to deal with that, then don't read this book. But otherwise, it's so good. The next book I have is Not the Girls You're Looking For by Amina May Safi. I believe this was her debut. Also, immediately after I bought this, I was like, I think I had an arc of this from NetGalley that I never read. So now I just have it, which is fine. This book is beautiful. I don't totally know what it's about, but it's just like a fluffy, cute, diverse contemporary, and I'm very much in the mood for those right now. I didn't love Tell Me How You Really Feel, which was her second book, I believe. But I don't know. We'll see how I feel about this one. Why are their names so big and the title of the book is so small? What the fuck? The last book I have to show you today is Between the Lines by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer, which is her daughter. So Jodi got famous from writing My Sister's Keeper, which is the book that absolutely destroyed me when I was in like 6th grade. Whew, that was rough. But I think this one is supposed to be a lot happier. It's about this girl who reads her favorite book over and over and over again, and eventually the main character, like the prince in the book, he comes to life, and he has been falling in love with her just like she has kind of been falling in love with him. So that sounds pretty cute. I'm excited. I hope it's good. I have not ever read another Jodi Picoult book because I didn't trust her after My Sister's Keeper. There's too much like emotional damage to my 12-year-old heart. But this doesn't seem like it's gonna be a heartbreaker like that one was. This just seems kind of fun. So we'll see. That's it. That's all the books I have to talk about today. This was kind of short, sweet, to the point. I don't like to do massive book hauls because I don't know where I would put all those books. So I do like smallish ones at a more frequent interval, except I hope not to be doing too many more hauls. I think I said that in the last video, which literally came out last week as of when I'm filming this. And then I went and bought all those books. But you know what? Books make me happy, so what are you gonna do? I may need to reevaluate my goal of where I want to get my TBR to. But you know what? Well, it's fine. If you've read any of these books and you think I should prioritize any of them, please let me know. Follow me on all my social media. Those are linked down below. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. That's what YouTubers say. I'll see you guys next time.